Huge pets were added in November 2021, and Titanics were added in December of 2022, so basically a year later. But what about colossal pets? Before we get into the video, do you want a free huge? Just like the video, subscribe, and comment your Roblox username. So here is last video's winner. They get this huge rock. So let's talk about colossal pets. So first, huge pets are pretty common. If you go to the plaza, you're gonna see many people that have huges, and the most common one is the huge rock, which 1.44 million exists. The rarest huge you could actually hatch is the Easter cat, which it says 36 exist, but it's more like a couple hundred because it got duped a lot. Then the rarest huge overall is the crowned Pegasus, which I actually have indexed, which only 6 exist, and I think there are like 1 or 2 in circulation. So some huges can be really rare, but most of them have, like, if we look at these, pretty much all huges are around like 5,000 to 25,000. And some people have hundreds of huges, because I mean, you only need, like, I'd say that average huge that is not rainbow golden or anything is worth like 50 billion, but there are pretty much a whole bunch of cheap ones that are worth around like 30 billion right now. All of them are going up though. Like, huge rocks used to just be 14 billion maybe a few weeks ago, then they rose to 15 billion, then the diamond mine was added, and then they've just been going up a lot ever since. But then Titanic pets were added in December of 2022, so 1 year and 1 month later after huges were added. Titanics are definitely a lot more rare. There are way less of them than huges, and pretty much all of them are around like 500 exist to 1,000. Like the Jellycat 500-ish exists. The only ones that are rarer than 500 are the blobfish and the hippo melon. Those both only 75, but not all of them have been redeemed yet. Pretty much all the egg exclusives like the Astra, Buber, and all of those are almost 1,000, except for like the older ones such as Balloon Monkey and Neon Agony. And all the plushie ones except hippo melon and blobfish, 1,000 of them were sold. So Titanics, I'd say, are about 10 times rarer than huges, because most huges, like I said, besides like the huge rock, cupcake, and the super common ones, are around like 5,000 exist. But they are much more expensive, because like all Titanics go for at least 4.8 trillion, almost 5 trillion right now, and they're probably gonna rise even more. Make sure you use TelanthricValues.com, by the way. Meanwhile, the huges that only like 5,000 exist, like the leprechaun cat and stuff like that, are only worth like 40 or 50 billion at most. So Titanics are pretty expensive. But now colossal pets. So Pet Simulator X kind of follows an update cycle that I've noticed. So I'd say like 1 in every 3 or every 4 updates is a completely new area, and also like 1 in every 4 updates is an event. So if we take a look at the past updates, which you can see in my streams, there was what I'll call a quality of life update, because they added trading. Well, I mean, like, trading was already added, but they just made trading a lot better. Then there was kind of just like a random update because they added comets, which is a thing I don't think they had before. At least since I started playing, they haven't added anything that just randomly appears and you get a reward from it. That's like not an event. Then they had an event update. Then they had a new exclusive egg update. Then another event. Then another event. Then like a new random feature in the game, the Diamond Cave. Then another random feature, another event. Now basically another event update. So a lot of their updates are event updates. So PetSimX released near the middle of 2021, and near the end they added huges. Then about a year later they added Titanics. So I'd say if this trend kind of follows, colossal pets, or at least like another tier above Titanics, could possibly be added in another year. Because eventually they're gonna run out of like similar update ideas. Like, I know the next few updates, or at least like in the future, most updates are gonna be event updates, because that seems to be the most common type of update. Then there are gonna be a few updates where they add new features, just like how they added evolving pets and stuff like that. Because after a while, when they add more and more Titanics, so it seems like a new Titanic is added like almost every week, because they just sell more plushies. The only times Titanics are added are when they either sell more plushies or a new exclusive egg comes out. So it seems like exclusive eggs last for 3 weeks, and pretty much twice a month new Titanic plushies come out. In another few months, there are gonna be a lot more Titanics, like maybe 10 or 20. And even though Titanics are really expensive, eventually they're gonna become kind of common. Like, anyone that trades a whole bunch is probably gonna have gotten at least one. And they're probably gonna add another free-to-play one later at some point, because pretty much the only free-to-play one was the Titanic Jolly Cat. So it makes sense for them to eventually, at some point, okay, if the game keeps updating, like, for years, at some point, they're probably gonna add another pet tier above Titanics. And, I mean, right now, Titanics are pretty big in your inventory, especially if you don't have the grid view on. Like, literally, they take up the space of 4 pets. So if they do add a pet bigger than that, even with grid view, it is gonna be really, really big. Also, some people think they're gonna add evolved Titanics at some point. I don't really know, because right now, evolved huges are pretty common. Like, they don't have any, like, they don't have huges from events, such as the Scary Corgi and Scary Cat, but they do have pretty much all huges that were common from either the huge machine egg or, of course, like the huge rock, but no Titanics are really that common, so I don't think they'd add a Titanic converter, like, ever, or like a Titanic evolver. Now, Titanic converter, that is a possibility at some point. That definitely seems like something they'd eventually add, where you can just put a whole bunch of huges in a machine, and then you get, like, a Titanic egg or something, because the huge converter was added in the beginning of February 2023, so that's literally after Titanics were added, and a whole 1 year and 3 months after huges were added. So sometime long in the future, it's a possibility, because I remember when huges first came out, I wasn't playing Petsum X at the time, but a lot of my friends were talking about it, and huges seemed to be pretty hyped up and kinda rare. But now, after huges are so easy to obtain from events, because I'm pretty sure events, your luck game passes and stuff, don't really change the huges. I'm pretty sure it's just like the luck potion, and sometimes whenever the server luck events happen, free to play events, I'm pretty sure they make it a little bit more free to play by making it where everyone has equal chance to hatch the huges, or at least they did that with a couple events. Anyone that goes AFK has luck boosts and a decent amount of coins or diamonds or whatever you need to hatch for the event is gonna get at least a couple huges, so like, it's not that hard to get huges. Now, Titanics, unless if you spend $250, it is really hard to get a Titanic. I tried my best to trade for Titanics, and I have 11 after like 2 months, so, I mean, for the first month, I did get 10, but then I traded like 5 for the Hippo Melon, but I traded like all day, pretty much every day the first month that I played. Now, I don't really trade as often, so I also used to only do like 1 video per day, but now I do like 2. So me personally, I think Colossal Pets could be a good idea if they wanted to add something like super, super, super rare, because, okay, if Titanics are 10 times rarer than huges, if Colossal Pets were 10 times rarer than Titanics, only like 50 to 100 of each would exist, which I think would be rare enough to make sense, but not like too rare where you never see them. Usually like 2 to 10 people own a Titanic in the Pro Plazas, each one, so it's not that hard to find someone with a Titanic. If they added Colossal Pets, there would probably be one in like every few trading plazas. But that's pretty much it. Those are my predictions for Colossal Pets. And so far in leak videos, I've predicted like a lot of things right. So I can't wait for like maybe in a few months or even up to a year if they ever add Colossal Pets, because that'd be pretty cool. But also I used, okay, like a few months ago, I used ChatGPT. Actually, maybe like a month and a half ago, I used ChatGPT to generate a whole bunch of random things for a video. Like, the video is mainly about trading, but I also made it say some funny things about Petsum X, and one of the things was what pets are better than Titanic pets, and it predicted Colossal Pets and like a few other tiers. So yeah, I just think that's pretty cool. But make sure to subscribe with the notifications on, like the video, join my Discord server, links in the description, do everything else linked in the description. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.